We've just had some world semi-finals of upsets and dominance that have destroyed pickems everywhere and riled up the haters like never before. Let's get into the games as they happen, starting with Saturday's LCK showdown between Gen.g and KT. Game 1 started off very rough for Chovy as he flashed into Cuz's flag and drag to give up first blood to KT. Looking to deny KT their dragon at 17 minutes, Gen.g layered a nasty combo courtesy of Duro's knockup.
Peter, no flash as you say that, Nico. Half of a champ if he can't get onto the backline, still looking to be engaged. Meanwhile, the cease and desist into the quickness combo. A double charm comes out from Duro, and Gen.g just rip the hearts out of KT.
KT eked out a small gold lead, executing almost perfectly on their pick comp, but a peanut pop blossom flipped the game on its head, only for Gen.g to then eventually claw it back as the gold graph swung wildly. KT managed to hang on thanks to some BDD heroics, finally allowing KT to take the soul they've been after for a third of the game. And this finally tipped the scales in KT's favor, allowing them to take Elder, Baron, and finally Gen.g's Nexus in a 46-minute banger.
This video is sponsored by our friends over at Opera GX, who have seriously made the dream browser for gamers. But League fans, Opera GX has got something really special planned for you. We know you'll be tuning in for Worlds Finals on November 9th to see whether KT or T1 will be lifting the Summoners Cup. But to add to the excitement, Opera GX will be offering real-time loot drops during the broadcast that only Opera GX users will be able to claim. Just make sure you're watching the World stream on lolesports.com via your Opera GX browser, and pay attention during the Opera GX segment, which is when the drops will be announced. So download Opera GX using the link in the description and make sure that you don't miss out on some sweet, sweet loot.
In Game 2, Gen.g took the first dragon at 6 minutes, but paid for it dearly as KT won the extended team fight to give themselves Feat of Warfare and an almost 1k gold lead. Gen.g began to take hold of the mid-game thanks to some world-class team fighting, catapulting Ruler's Ezreal into a 2.5k gold lead over his opponent. KT kept things close though with some incredibly narrow team fights where the outcomes were often decided by single-digit health bars. It was a war of attrition for the next 15 minutes, but after Gen.g got themselves a hard-earned soul and multiple barons, they were finally strong enough to beat KT under their own inhib turrets and even up the series soon after. The mid laners saw a lot of action early on in Game 3 with BDD's Azir pulling ahead over Chovy's 3-death Orianna, but also giving a big shutdown to Chovy in top lane. And the mid game was not the narrow contest we'd seen so far. KT looked the stronger outfit in objective fights to give themselves a 3.5k gold lead at 16 minutes. Gen.g just couldn't get a look in from there, their situation perfectly encapsulated by Canyon's Skyfall getting immediately noped by Cuz's Poppy to give KT soul. KT didn't complicate things from there, using their massive advantage to choke out Gen.g in textbook fashion to put themselves on series points. It was hard to tell which way Game 4 was going to go after only 4 kills had happened and less than 1k gold separated the teams by 15 minutes, but that's when KT decided things would start going their way.
Into the Glacial Fissure, they dodge a petrifying gaze, but Duro's still caught by it. Flash hostile takeover coming out into the Fate's Call. The Cuz is able to get the hammer as Keen tries to get onto that back line, but so much work here from KT. They've already found 2 in the fight, and the tides are very much in their favor. They'll chase down Canyon. KT raw to life in Game 4.
6 minutes later, they narrowly won an Atakan fight as BDD's Cassiopeia thrived in the choke points, while Gen.g could only watch the objective go down with a single kill to their name. Gen.g completely crumbled from there. They couldn't show up on time to stop Baron, and KT, with a now 4k gold lead and soul in their pocket, quickly ran them out of the pit. Gen.g made their final stand at Elder, hoping to snatch it from KT, but with a wallet diff like this, it was only a fool's hope.
The corner of the port got Duro, blocks the Glacial Fissure out as well. The Elder secured as KT. They get it, and Dogdam is flashing forward. Ruler rules no longer. KT clean up the fight, and now march down mid.
KT took down the Nexus to pull off what is possibly the most unlikely upset we've seen at Worlds to book themselves into their first ever Worlds final and force us to ask the question, is this their fairy tale moment? In the other semi-final, we had Top Esports hoping to do what no other LPL team has done before in the history of Worlds, beat T1 in a best of 5. T1's objective control prowess was on full display in Game 1, shutting TES out heading into the mid-game to give themselves sole point at 23 minutes in just a single kill game. But blood finally started to spill at the 25-minute Atakan fight as T1 took the team fight win and the objective.
Top esports looking for something here. It's Doran jumped on immediately. However, he's into the death realm. He's going after Kanavi. He wants to take out the enemy jungler. Top esports, they're trying to get him away. But as soon as the death realm ends, Carrier's quickness begins. And Top esports have already lost their jungler. They're about to lose their top laner. 369 wants to go all out, but Gumayusi and T1 are all in. Hong trying to escape as Cream's got some fancy acrobatics, but he's not getting anything.
It looked like Jackie Love's Sivir might pop off just before 28 minutes, but Faker's 4-0-2 scoreline was too much to handle, with most of T1's gold lead sitting in his back pocket. T1 won an extended teamfight outside Top Esports base, picking them off one by one. The long and staggered death timers left nobody alive to defend Tess's base, and T1 knocked it all down to take Game 1 in 30 minutes. Faker landed an incredibly short hero's entrance to give T1 2 kills early on in Game 2. It looked like 369 had shown up way too late in the aftermath of a dragon fight before he executed a nasty Ambessa ult onto Gumayusi.
369 looking for an angle, possibly. He goes for the public execution! 369! Damn, that's fine! He finds Gumayusi!
But when 369 failed to do the same at the 20-minute Atakan fight, it signaled Carrier and Owner to pull off a deadly pincer.
They cannot find Owner, and they know that's an issue, but it's misses on the ult.
They wanted the public execution, they can't get Gumayusi! 3-man pop blossom from Carrier, and Jackie Love's dead again! This time, his friends might just go with him. Gumayusi needs a little bit more as Kanavi chases forward on Doran. The Trundle needs the kill, but he dies to the Cataclysm. Cream locked up by Faker. It's a Justice punch to the jaw, and Gumayusi knocks him out. Triple kill for the Kaisa as Hong's a fish out of water, and T1 get an ace for 2.
Just before 23 minutes, we saw Carrier pull off an insane Nico flank disguised as a wolf from the jungle camp, managing to cross mid completely undetected.
And then Carrier decides to run to the enemy wolves, turn into a wolf, cross the minimap, run around the red buff, and go on to Jackie. But imagine you're Top Esports here, yeah? You know, the wolf crossing, you don't look at the minimap, you don't see it.
A few minutes later, Guma perfectly sidestepped 369's ult in mid lane, using his killer instinct to delay his own death for long enough for T1 to clean up on the back end. From there was really no doubt what the defending world champions would do with their unassailable position, engaging on Tess in bot lane to leave the base wide open at 27 minutes, ending with 24 kills to 7. After a relatively close early game in Game 3, a Naught hook onto Carrier and some devastating knockups from 369 looked like it could be enough to stop T1 from taking their second dragon, but with Gumayusi untouched, T1 were eventually able to ace Top Esports. We had a question mark ping moment from Kanavi at 16 minutes as he leapt into the middle of T1 under Tess's Tier 1 as perhaps some nerves were beginning to fray. T1's suffocating CC started to make teamfights look very one-sided as they put themselves on sole point by 20 minutes with the momentum firmly in their favor. Top Esports were still able to find some kills and kept the gold difference fairly close, but with Doran Sion happily tanking 8 turret shots at a time, things were looking doomed. Top Esports had nothing left in the tank, no aces up their sleeves, and had tried but failed to take down T1 in a best of 5, just like every LPL team before them.
The focus fire into 369 as Cream and Kanavi scramble to stay alive, but nobody on Top Esports has anything to stop T1. It's only the mid laner left. They'll get the final kill. And yet again, the highest peaks of the LPL are merely stepping stones for the unkillable Demon King. Faker and T1 have set the stage for the World Finals Telecom War.
And so here we are again, with T1 now making their 4th Worlds final in a row, with the opportunity now to achieve the first ever Worlds three-peat. To break down just how insane all of this is, we had Wetselaar on the ground in China.
It's official, T1 are heading into another Worlds Finals. They have a chance to three-peat for the first time in the history of the game, and in a lot of ways, it's a movie we've all seen before. But if you're a fan of the channel, you know this is good news. After all, everybody knows Faker pays our salaries, and theScore esports is eating good tonight. And although you should never count T1 out at Worlds, I do think it's kind of shocking that we're gonna see them on stage in Chengdu, given the state they were in earlier in this tournament due to some player health issues, but I think also a bit of a challenge adapting to this tournament. But whatever exactly has changed from the beginning of Swiss until now, there's no question that this is T1 at Worlds in full force, and there's nothing scarier in League of Legends. We actually got the chance to talk to Doran right after his team made the quarterfinals, and as the only member of this roster to have never played in a Worlds Finals, this guy is hungry to finally win it all.
일단 뭐 어떠한 특별한 의미를 두고 하고 있는 것 같진 않고 그냥 최대한 즐기면서 하고 있고요. 청두에서 또 결승전을 하면서 우승을 하게 된다면 되게 인생에서 가장 좋은 추억으로 남을 그런 경기이지 않을까 싶습니다.
And look, as crazy as this year has been for T1, on some level, of course we're back here. Of course Faker is 1v9ing games all these years later. It's T1 magic at Worlds. You can't really quantify it. But in the interest of at least trying to explain what's going on here, I think a big part of the story comes down to draft. We're a year into Fearless, and honestly, it's taken a while for teams to get comfortable with drafting deeper into these 5-game series. But now, with only 2 teams remaining, I think that KT and especially T1 have an honestly terrifying mastery of this meta. Faker is the only player at this event to have played Mel, Keria is busting out a Renata that he mastered years ago, and a lot of theoretical counters to high priority champions on this patch like Kiana and Ornn are coming out in full force. On top of the gameplay, it really does feel like this series against Tess had a massive draft gap.
They wanted the public execution, they can't get Gumayushi! 3-man pop blossom from Keria, and Jackie Love's dead again! This time, his friends might just go with him. Gumayushi needs a little bit more as Kanavi chases forward on Doran. The Trundle needs the kill, but he dies to the Cataclysm. Cream locked up by Faker. It's a Justice Punch to the jaw, and Gumayushi knocks him out. Triple kill for the Kaisa as Hong's a fish out of water, and T1 get an ace for 2.
Now, I don't know exactly what's going to happen in Chengdu. A lot of people think that T1 are favorites, but KT has already shown they can punch well above their weight. Either way, I'm unbelievably excited for this finals. It's only the 4th telecom war to ever be played in a finals, and it's here at Worlds.
So it's all come down to this, a final telecom war to determine the winner of Worlds 2025. Who could have guessed we'd be saying that at the start of this tournament? T1 have gone from not even being favoured to qualify for Worlds to it feeling like this is now their tournament to lose. Is this KT's chance to prove the haters wrong after a decade of curses and heartbreak, or will the scientific enigma that is Faker collect yet another Worlds trophy? Will this one be for Doran? Everything will finally be answered in the grand finals this Sunday.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.